Yes, indeed. It is called Lothric, where the transitory lands of the Lords of Cinder converge. In venturing north, the pilgrims discover the truth of the old words. The fire fades, and the lords go without thrones. When the link of fire is threatened, the bell tolls, unearthing the old lords of Cinder from their graves. Aldrich, saint of the deep, Farron's undead legion, the Abyss Watchers. And the reclusive lord of the profaned capital. Yon the Giant. Only in truth, the lords will abandon their thrones. And the unkindled will rise. Nameless, accursed undead, unfit even to be cinder. And so it is that ash seeketh embers.
What is going on YouTube? Hope you enjoyed that intro to Dark Souls 3. The intro is always beautiful, but I've got to say, 1 and 2, they're not, they're more story-based, the intros, and it's great, they're beautiful, absolutely stunning music, stunning, breathtaking scenery and design, graphics. So something about the intro to Dark Souls 1 with the Lord of Sunlight throwing those thousands of lightning bolts at the stone dragons as they're coming through the air and the undying world of Earth. Just mind-blowing. I just can't get over that one. All the others are beautiful, but that in particular has always held it for me. So, Dark Souls 3. Part 1. The beginning of the end. So, you'll see just me testing out the moveset here, just making sure that everything's as is from Dark Souls 1 and 2. Always start as a knight. I always start as a knight just because you get very generally high stats across all the board. And you get good weapon shield, good armor, really good starting set, and then you just develop your character from there. You just can't beat a knight. It's very first started Demon Souls, started as a cleric, and then I started as a magician or a mage on Dark Souls 1. Just too weak. Start as a knight, your magic's still up there, can't use spells straight away, a couple of upgrades, boom. So, absolutely beautiful. You'll see me panning around on some of these just to check out some of the scenery and look at the armour. Check out the surroundings around me. Try and get used to these menus. There's a few things changed, like this quick menu at bottom there. You saw 3 items in there. I thought that was my my menu. So like, I take my character off because this is what I made my character like. And there's 2 dark lines across his face. Now, they're shading or shadows, but I didn't put those on him when I made him. Now, maybe I did, but it didn't show up. I didn't mean to. But luckily, you can wear a helmet, so that's great. I heard a little rumour on a YouTube video that defense works slightly different, and say you decide not to wear a helmet, and it'll still say you've got a defense from your armor, your gauntlets, and your leggings. But even wearing rags on your head, for example, will increase your defense massively, because there's your defense of your individual items plus an overall defense from combining all items. I'm sure that's how it works. So where am I going here? Just this first playthrough, it's pretty straightforward. I think I die once, try and take out the lizard, the crystal lizard. I really like the scenery. It reminds me a lot of Demon Souls for some reason. And I'm on level 3 or 4 at the moment in a village that's below all the castle area. It really reminds me of Dark Souls, which is making me feel a bit uncomfortable for some reason. And not Dark Souls, excuse me, Bloodborne. Bloodborne was a wicked game. It looked amazing. It had an epic thing, but different. It just different. It had an uncomfortable aura to it. Maybe it's just the nature of what that was. I don't know. So you can have a beat starting with a longsword, can you? Ashen Estus flag. So I'm assuming that's for the magic. So they've gone back to a Demon Souls-esque type setup with a magic flask. You remember Dark Souls 2? I can't remember Dark Souls 1. It's been so long since I played it. With Dark Souls 2, you had your spell counting rather than you refilled your magic, and it essentially refilled how many spells you get. Where this is a mana bar, a magic bar. It's great. I tried a couple of parries. They're a little bit more difficult on this, and I nearly get owned by level 1 dude with a goddamn dagger. So I thought, yeah, he's dying. Not going to mess around with that shit. I never really parried in other games. It's a skill that I never learned to master because I'm just more interested in dodging, rolling, blocking, spinning around for backstab. Didn't really think how useful it'd be. And then PvP, obviously, very useful if you can master it. But my loss. Too old now, so just go and check some of the scenery. I mean, this is breathtaking on top of these mountains. When I come back here, I pant it right, and you see we're midway. We're like thousands of meters up, maybe a couple of miles up from the ground side of this mountain, and next to us we're only midway up the side of this castle that continues to grow. It's just an epic set. A bit of a morbid turn here, but I always like to think that if you die, I wonder if you. It sounds really crazy. Maybe it's heaven, maybe it's something else. If anyone watched Star Trek Atlantis, the Ascended, the Ancients, the humans that ascended after millions of years of evolution, pure energy. I mean, but look at this castle here. But yeah, the Ancients ascended and became so advanced they exist on a totally different plane of existence, higher, that all the galaxies mean nothing to them, that all the species in all the galaxies are so tiny, they're insignificant. Imagine if you die and that's where you go if you're lucky. But then I was thinking, wouldn't it be great if you got to kind of pick the type of land you went in? And I always think, that's a bit creepy, but I think going into the world of Dark Souls and exploring all these lands covered in armour and having companions and having all these abilities would be kind of cool. And I think World at Warcraft or that'd be a nice world to go into. I know it's crazy. Dark Souls is another one. I do think of a couple of sci-fi ones, but I can't remember. I can't think of them off by heart right now. So I'm sorry if this commentary is not too upbeat. Like I said in one of my other videos, in order to sound like you would when you're talking to another person, you need to be over-exaggerating all your pronunciations and your key vocal points. I mean, look at this castle though. That's not an over. Look at that monster. I just keep checking out this midway. We're at. Look, even if you were right down there on that ledge where those forts were, look that. Even if you look how high it still is. Imagine if you're in that castle and you're just midway somewhere. You think, oh God, I'm not safe. I'm midway, but then you think, oh, there's thousands of meters of castle below me and corridors and guards and defences, and then I think, imagine if you had to go all the way down to the bottom and defend, and then you had to block your way and walk against the undead and climb back up to the top through all corridors, and you get amazing. Just look at this scenery though. And I've got to say, I'm disappointed with the DLC set, not the DLC sets, the deluxe editions or limited editions. Demon Souls, when that came out, the limited edition was £30 for PS3. You got a box set. You got a fucking 200-page book. It was a soft cover, size of the sort of box set of the DVD. So A5-ish, quite sizable. Missed the jump there. You're welcome. You got a sort of playthrough guide of that, just general stats of all the enemies, the bosses, locations, areas. You got the game. Then you got a hardback size book the same size of artwork. And I think Dark Souls 1 you get like something similar. I'm sure I got something else. Now they offer the soundtrack. I mean, don't get me wrong, from what I've heard of this soundtrack, it's phenomenal. It reminds me a lot of The Witcher 3. For some reason, there's similarities in the style. The Witcher 3 soundtrack, I downloaded that. Well, I got it free with Game, but it's on iTunes. Beautiful, beautiful, amazing soundtrack. And this is the same. I kind of wish I'd paid the extra for it now. I think I'll download it off torrents if someone's legally put it up there. I think I will get it at some point, because that would be an epic thing to fall to sleep to, drifting off to bed. I've noticed so far that it seems to take a lot more souls to level up at the moment. Now what I've done is, I did this bit solo because you have to. When I figured out how to summon or get summoned, I did that. And I did the next few levels with sellswords, with two people helping, which is great. I need the help. I don't know the game. The only problem is that these people are not using mics, and I don't think they're listening to me, or they don't have voice chat on. Now the problem is with that is that these guys have already done it, and they're sellswording to get souls to level up. And these guys just rush ahead of me. They rush through the level. They're killing everything. And I don't get a chance to explore and understand the level and the location and the layout so that I can make my way back there if I get lost, because I had to just try and keep up, and it just kind of ruined it. First two guys I send back because I'm like, oh, screw this. And I go back and I get some more guys in. I do the same area. Now I know it a little bit better. But then after a while I'm thinking, you know what? I'll just do this, and maybe I'll record it again when I play one of my friends. I've got a couple of friends going to be playing this, and they've not quite got past the first bit yet, so maybe I'll do it with this. I saw Epic Name Bro take this guy out, and he made it look very easy two-handed. And I don't often go two-handed because I like the shield. I'm good with shield. I keep my guard up, but he took it out very quick this way, and so I try it. Yep, not used to two-handed really. So I get owned. Go in one-handed on second time, do some good damage, and there's a nice little spot where you can get like a critical on him. You sort of stagger him, but you don't know he's staggered. You look like he's upping one of his attacks on his back. When he's in that position, you go up and you R1 into his face, and you do a critical, and that does some serious work. But look at those graphics. I mean, look at the colours, the light refraction, the glow on those crystals. Absolutely beautiful, isn't it? Absolutely beautiful. Can't wait to see some crystal magic spells. I'm assuming they've got crystal magic. Now, as far as I'm aware, this is Lordaeron. It's called Lothric now. Oh, they get eaten. Oh, lovely. That's where I die. So this is Lordaeron from Dark Souls 2. Or is it 1? Oh, I can't remember. They're all the same place, basically. And just 1,000 years apart. Now, the flame's dying again. And the 5 Lords of Cinder have been risen to reclaim their thrones and relight the flame. The only problem is, these lords don't want to do this shit anymore. See, each one of the lords is someone like us who has lit the flame in the past, consumed by it, and became a lord. What's interesting is that technically means that your character from Dark Souls 1 and your character from Dark Souls 2 are now two of the 5 lords that have been risen. That's really, it's quite amazing how it's been worked into the lore and the practicality of the gameplay. The fact that 2 of those lords are technically you, because you all played the first 2 games and lit the flame and was consumed by it. But I mean, for people that don't know the lore, which I'm sure everybody does by now, in Dark Souls, originally, state of the world, nothing ever died. There was the eternal dragon, eternal stone dragons that lived. The entire world was grey. The stone dragons ruled over the earth. Nothing else really existed until the first flame came into existence, deep in the chasm, underground, whatever you want to call it, and little pygmies and other little creatures and whatever found the flames, and they became different lords. Now, the Lord of Sunlight, all these different lords, and the pygmy took the first flame and created the Dark Soul, and then there's a critical. Look at that graphics, love it. Anyway, the pygmy took the first flame, and took the dark and became the Dark Soul, and the humans were born. And what's interesting is that suddenly humans were born and started dying. Now we're talking tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of years later. The curse kicks in, the dark curse, the Dark Soul, the dark curse, and humans that die become undead, so they can't die. They eventually die so much they lose the sanity and become hollowed. What's interesting is that all the world thinks this is a curse. This is not a curse. This is the world in this universe, from a lore standpoint, trying to right itself. Because in the beginning, before the first flame burst into existence, nothing ever died. So what they call the curse is essentially nature trying to reset itself. Nothing ever originally died. Now humans were created and began to die. This is not how nature works in this world. Humans should not die. Everything is eternal. Things just existed. So it's really mind-blowing that what we consider a curse, holification, the undead, is actually the world trying to reset itself back to its natural state. I mean, but look at that. That is just unbelievable. And I'm a little bit gutted, and I'm probably worrying about nothing, but you start off hearing this amazing scenery, and there's a massive castle behind you, and you head away from it. The entire game you're heading away from it to work your way down the mountain to get to the Lords of Cinder's homes or dwellings where they've fled to because they don't want to take the thrones. Now, I'm sure the levels and the world sets we're going to get are going to be unbelievable. Look at that growth, eh? We've got some cream on that, sunshine. Oh, yeah, I've got one of those on my left testicle. Yep, too much information. But anyway, it's a shit. I mean, I'm sure the world set, the world design, and the concept art is going to be. Just look at that, though. Look at that. Can you imagine being in that world and being in charge of that castle, being the king, and elevators that go all the way down, corridors, guards, defences, defensible points, turrets, all these magic spells, barriers, fortresses. Sorry, I'm just a geek. But first boss fight. These things look big, and you're weak as hell, but they put the health at a reasonable stamina. And you look at my weak attack, 52, 59. You do some damage, 89. Except they hit hard, so you gotta keep an eye on the moveset, try and learn it as quick as possible, and just don't let them hit you. Gonna guard break me there. Ooh, and then a follow up. Luckily, they don't do massive amounts of damage. Do far more than you do. But yeah, imagine starting as a depraved or a cleric. You'd no harm in you. I mean, look at this thing, eh? Damn, he must have put that wrong cream on. Should have took those antibiotics, buddy. That is a hell of a first starting boss, isn't it? 30 seconds into the game, massive ancient knight in silver-plated armour, all engraved like a king, with a massive scythe, and this rat thing bursts out of him, made out of dark energy, tar, I don't know, and they've got like a big tree arm claw. It's just, where do these guys think of this shit? I mean, I say that, but I do have like several degrees in design, and when people look at this stuff, and even I look at it, which is crazy, because I know how this process works, and it is a long and hard process, but it's about concepts and designs I've come up with from a blank page. Unbelievable, people don't know how to do it. And I always think, I know how the shit they do stuff, but it is a process of just, you start taking photographs, looking at all the games out there, looking at the history of the world and futuristic stuff, everything you can think of. Then you start getting ideas, looking at taking parts and bits from everything, putting them together, modifying them, changing them. And it's just unbelievable. But so it is, it is a complex process. But anyway, I've tried to make this a bit shorter, 21 minutes ish. Just wanted to show you first boss fight and the intro to the world. What a beautiful world, eh? What a beautiful start to this game. This is going to be an unbelievable end to the series. I hope this is really not the end. I'm pretty sure, as far as I'm aware, there's going to be some DLC. I hope it's as big and as good as DLC, the 3 sets we get from Dark Souls 2. That'd be awesome. And I think we'll be heading to the Firelink Shrine after this bit. I could be totally wrong. Anyway, I will see you guys for part 2 of the beginning of the end, Dark Souls 3. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. And cheers.